there are lots and lots of star signs like us who have other perceptions, other abilities, who, you know, eat the whole thought about ETs and the whole thought about military having our own UFOs technologies and stuff is, of course, we know this. It's like a standard thing. But for the rest of humanity, this is mind-blowing event, mind-blowing. Now, there's been a lot of talk on how in the hell is this guy still alive, right? How is this guy still alive doing all this whistleblowing, you know, collecting information? And this is actually the part that I want to dive into, because this is where our discernment is critical, okay? What your inner truth. Thank you, Young Trick, for confirming the sound is better. Thank you so much. So our inner discernment is going to be absolutely vital in the moving forward with this, because nothing is what it seems, and there's no clear good guys, bad guys, people with good intentions, people with ill intentions. I see it as an intricately woven vine, you know, growth. If you ever go into the forest and go into a really thick part of the forest that you can't enter because there's so much intertwined growing together, I feel like this is actually part of what we're looking at. So Greer is said to, you know, he's either under extreme divine connection, protection, or he is he's deep state himself, and maybe he's a double agent, right? So when I first saw this press release, well, for one, I you know, this timeline marker came to my mind, but also what came to my mind is that this could very well be a ruse to reveal the quote white hats, right? These are the ones that have the agenda to take the deep state down. I'll just summarize it as that. There's a lot more intricacies to who the white hats are, and no one really knows for sure. But this is a term used to label those men and women that have banded together secretly to take down the deep state agendas. Okay. So white hat, deep state, which is he? So I had that thought about him. You know, he's a deep state guy, and this is a ruse to reveal all the white hats and something like this going on. And then a dear starshine who I know very well mentions that she saw some sort of, or is in connection with some, no, I think someone wrote a book, a mind control victim. I'm going to call it victim for now. You know, the mind controlled mistresses that are commonly talked about within the deep state agendas, like Marilyn Monroe was there's a special name for those women. They're mind controlled, they're sex slaves, but really they're also surveillance tools. So when you, the key is that they traumatize a mind and compartmentalize it in such a way, and to infiltrate different men of power or women of power, depending on what their appetites are like, and they become a special concubine, if you will, to these people, and they are sexually exquisite, irresistible in a lot of ways, but they also, their subconscious is like a recorder. It records everything that is spoken in front of them. So after they come from their encounters with their assigned person, they get debriefed, and everything that they recorded, everything they witnessed gets reported, so to speak. So there's talk about Marilyn Monroe being that for JFK, and you know, there's lots of other whistleblowers or people out there that talk about these mockingbird girls that are used to to exploit and take advantage of, or perhaps leverage, these men of power. And this dear starshine friend of mine made a comment that this particular girl, and I don't have her name, unfortunately, maybe you guys can do some research, was assigned to Dr. Greer, and that he was at at many of these deep state functions. Now, I wonder if people even know functions are deep state or not. I don't know. And I'm not saying that he's corrupt knowingly. I'm just saying that there are other shenanigans involved. And when you have highly compartmentalized levels of consciousness. Like if you have humans that are highly compartmentalized, one compartment of that human does not know what the other compartment is doing. And I feel like I've witnessed this firsthand myself not that long ago. So someone may seem like they're a certain way, but that's just that compartment. There's other compartments within them that have totally different personalities. Am I talking about schizophrenia? Maybe in a very controlled and surgical type of way. Okay. The thing is about these compartmentalizations is that, especially with the girls, is that once they hit maturity around 30 years, 28, 30 years old, they their compartments start to merge and reunify, and they're no longer in use. And this is usually where they die of a drug overdose or have some sort of accident, commit suicide, stuff like this. So, so these girls have been used and known about for many, many decades. I've known about this particular thing for a long time. But it's very, very interesting, the compartmentalization and how it works. Okay. People can completely turn from Dr. Jekyll to Mr. Hyde in a drop of a dime once they get older, because these compartments can't stay separate. They start to leak into each other and they start to become aware of each other. Okay. And this is where other sorts of penetration and hijacking is necessary to keep control.